Hey guys, today's video I'm just going to show you 3 quick meals that I make pretty frequently in my house. And this is starting off with a pasta and chicken casserole. I kicked it all off in my Ninja Foodi because I just like to saute things. It makes it really easy. Everything is in one pot. I sliced up some Purdue chicken. I diced 1 full onion. And then I also added in 3 squares of frozen garlic. Now the frozen garlic is from Trader Joe's. If you don't have frozen garlic, I would maybe chop up 4 cubes or so. I think that would be enough. I wanted to use what I had on hand because we're really trying to cook with what we have. So I just had some parsley and oregano, and that was all the seasoning that I put besides salt and pepper. Now I went to my pantry and I looked for what I could add to this dish, and I ended up with some diced tomatoes, some olives, and I used the artichoke in oil can, and I actually put the whole oil in the can as well. So everything is sauteing, everything is cooking. I didn't have any heavy cream, so I added cream cheese. That's one of the substitutions that I had to make, and it worked out just fine. And then I added a full jar of marinara sauce. I didn't have shredded cheese, and I did have a mozzarella block, so I decided to use that instead. Once my pasta was finished cooking, I just tossed everything together, and then as I put the pasta in my casserole dish, I just put the chunks of mozzarella in because I knew that they would melt as I baked. Now I cooked the pasta really al dente because I knew I was going to give this dish 35 minutes or so at 350, so I didn't want to overcook the pasta. Right to the top, again, if I had shredded cheese I would have used it, but I didn't, so I just went back to my bar and old school style I grated that mozzarella right on top. I didn't put too much, just enough to give it a quick cover. 350, me and my PJs, and voila. You can see the olives are on top, the cheese has melted through, and it was just delicious. A really easy menu idea to make throughout the week, and we were able to eat this twice. Okay, so moving on, I freeze pancakes, and I do that because I want to make sure that my kids can have a nice hot breakfast and not always have to rely on cereal. So I just got this brand new griddle from Amazon, and I put my butter all across the top of the griddle, and I just went ahead and made as many pancakes as I could make. Now, I'm not the best flipper when it comes to pancakes, but it still all goes down smooth, I promise. I make a lot more than you would think that you need, and I do this because, like I said, I'm a family of 5, and I want to try to have at least 3 days of breakfast for 5. And so I ended up actually having to make 2 batches worth. I should have did that from the beginning. See that little hand? My son was trying to get one of the pancakes as I was cooking. Now, when you're about done, what I like to do is I like to make sure that these are as cool as possible. So I really try to air them out. So you might need to put another tray out and a few plates if you don't have time, if you want to just help speed it up. So I separate everything, I let it cool off for a few minutes, and then I get my Ziploc bags and I start to assemble. There is no order, there's no particular count. I just shove in as many pancakes as I possibly can into my bag. And I write the date on each of the bags. Also make sure that you take all the air out of the bags. That's a great way to make sure that they'll last just a little bit longer. And if you know that you're going to eat the pancakes the next day, you can put one in the fridge and one in the freezer. But put the date just in case you don't. The last thing that I do, my last trick, is when I make bacon and eggs, and I make bacon and eggs a lot in my house, I make the full entire packets of each. So I don't just make a few pieces of bacon, I make like 25 pieces of bacon every time that I cook. And I do this because it's just easier for us to have a dozen eggs cooked at once, as opposed to me having to do 2 or 3 every single day, because then I don't have to clean my pan. You do it one time, you get that pan dirty one time, and then you can eat for 2 or 3 days straight, knowing that you're going to have a bacon, egg, and cheese for lunch every single day. And I'm totally fine with that. I am from New York. I will eat a bacon, egg, and cheese every single day. Not a problem. So my dozen eggs go in with a little bit of butter and a little bit of milk. And I cook that through on a medium heat, just giving it some time. I don't really want to burn it. The bacon takes a lot longer than you think because I had a small frying pan. My husband and I were eating. We popped up some bagels, put the cheese on while everything is still hot, and then top with a little bit of egg. Repeat for the next few days. So easy, and our favorite treat for lunch.